in my sewing studio at my cutting table, and today I have a fun tutorial planned for you. I'm so excited to get started. But today we are talking all about the 2024 year of sewing July block. So starry, isn't it so cute? I'm so excited to make this block with you. This is a rotary cutter with a star in it, just festive. I also colored it up to celebrate the 4th of July. So go ahead to mysewquiltylife.com and pick up your pattern. This is a low price PDF. We are making the July Sew Starry Block today. So go ahead, grab your pattern, get your fabric cut out, and join me for the tutorial. I'm gonna go to my top camera right now and we will get started. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So I went ahead and cut out all the pieces I needed and laid them on my design board so that I could go ahead and get started. Now, something I already did is I already made one of the rotary cutter blocks so that I didn't have to make two for this video. I just can make one and then put them together so you can see the block. Hopefully this speeds up the tutorial just a little bit, but I think this block is so cute. I love it so much. So are we ready to get started? Okay, so go ahead and pull out your pattern and let's get started. We're gonna start with step one. So for step one, you're just drawing a diagonal line on the back of a couple pieces. Now, I don't do that anymore because I do use diagonal seam tape, so I'm gonna skip that step. But if you need to draw your diagonal lines, go ahead and do that now. Okay, moving on to step two. So for step two, we're gonna be making these cute little flying geese for this star. So what you need are your gray background pieces here. So this is fabric S, and then you're gonna need fabric K. In the pattern, you have two blue rotary cutters, but what I wanted to do is make one blue and one red, make it a little more patriotic. Since this is the July block for the year of sewing, I wanted to make it a little more patriotic. But the thing I love about this is if you're not in America, you don't have to do 4th of July colors. This is still cute and it still has a cute little star as the rotary blade. I think this is so adorable. So I just wanted to let you know that I am doing two different. So on this one, I did a light blue and a dark blue with a pinkish red star, and on the other rotary cutter, I'm going to be doing red, pink, and a blue star. So that's why they look a little different, but I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So the second step is just making these little flying geese units. So what you're gonna do is you're first going to assemble on your diagonal line, then you're gonna press, and then you are going to assemble the other one. Since these do overlap, you cannot do them together. You have to do them separately. So do 4, then press, then do your other 4, and then press. And then we will move on to step 3. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those done, and I will be right back. Okay, I just finished with step 2. So here are my S units. All of my S units. Now go ahead and make sure that you're trimming off any little bit of excess you may have from doing those flying geese, just to make sure they measure correctly. Every little bit. I even trim off just a little bit of that excess because sometimes when I do those folded corners, they're not perfect and I want them to still measure perfectly. So when I do put it in the block, it is good. So let's move on to step 3. So now we're just assembling this star. So we do need our fabric G, and we need our fabric T squares here. So what we're gonna do, this is simple. We all know how to put a star together, but what we are going to do is arrange our pieces like this. And I combine a couple of steps into this step. So this is what it should look like before you sew it together. And what we're first gonna do is we're going to assemble these to that piece, assemble these to that piece, and assemble these to that piece. After we have done that, we are going to sew our rows together. Now you want to make sure that you are nesting your seams. You're going to be pressing according to the pattern instructions. That will help you nest your seams. But when you get to sewing these 3 rows together, you want to make sure that you are nested here and here. And you want to make sure that you have an accurate 1/4 inch seam, because if you don't, you're going to cut off your points when you sew it together. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble this complete star unit, and when I get back, we'll move on to step 4. Okay, so I just got done making this adorable star unit. Now you do press your seams open on the back. Normally I would let that lay under a clapper a little bit so it laid a little more flat, but we don't have time for that right now. But it turned out really great. I'm really happy with where my points and everything are, my nested seams in those corners here. I think it looks great. Now, I did accidentally cut one of my pieces of fabric bigger, that gray piece. I don't know how that happened. So when I was putting my star together, I was like, why don't those line up? Well, so you might have seen in my last little clip here that one of them looked a lot bigger than it was supposed to. That's why. So I had to use my seam ripper to get that out so I didn't have to cut too many pieces, but here we are. Happens to me too. So the next step we are going to do is step 4, and we need our fabric Q rectangles, and our fabric P rectangles. And this is easy. All you're doing is assembling fabric Q to the star unit and pressing towards fabric Q. Then you're assembling your fabric P to the top and bottom and pressing towards fabric P. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and when I get back, we'll start on step 5. Okay, here we have our star unit. So that's with Q and P sewn. Now, my points kind of disappeared a little bit on these two, and it doesn't bother me that much because I feel like my fabric isn't as contrasting as it could be, and so I actually don't even notice it, so I'm gonna leave it as is. Also, this is a great way to make sure you're a little more accurate. If your star isn't the right size for whichever reason, it's totally fine. You could cut these pieces larger and then trim those down to what the measurement says in step 4. So you can get this to be back on track versus trying to remake your star. So that's a helpful tip. Sometimes I'll do that. I've gotten a lot better, so I don't really feel like I do that as often. But sometimes just go ahead and read the pattern, and if you know there's a lot of little pieces that you have to piece together, just be aware that your pieces might not fit as accurately as you had hoped. So sometimes you can make up for that by cutting other things like borders or stashing. In this case, this borders this star block, so you could make this larger and then cut it down. So now we're going to move on to step 5. So for step 5, we need our M squares, and this is where I'm starting to get that red rotary cutter part here. So we're just laying our squares at the corners of our star unit, and we're just going to assemble on the diagonal line, and we're going to press towards fabric M for our blade unit, and then we will move on to step 6. Really quick, I thought it'd be super helpful. So I used to struggle with directional fabric a lot when I first started, and as you can see, this is directional. It has hearts going up and down and not side to side as well, so it is directional. So here is my special little tip. You might know this, but this is what I do. So I will turn the fabric over, and instead of turning it over and looking and keep turning it and looking, all I do is whichever way I know I want my hearts to face, I lay them the opposite. So I know I want my finished hearts to go up and down. So when it's on the wrong side of the fabric, I look at which way the direction is, and that is the way that I lay it. So because I know I want my hearts to go up and down, I'm gonna right now lay them side to side. And that's how you get good directional fabric to work. So then when you go ahead and open them up, it is correct. That's just a little tip I learned. Okay, I just finished with step 5. Now we're going to be moving on to step 6, and this one is super simple as well. You just need your fabric O rectangles and your fabric N rectangles. And all we're doing here, as you can probably tell, is we're assembling our fabric O's to the side, pressing towards fabric O, and then our fabric N to the top and bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I will be right back. All right, I just finished with step 6, and here I have my blade unit. Now you can do the same thing with this one and cut larger those N and O pieces to be able to make sure that your blade unit measures the correct measurement according to the pattern. So now we're going to finish this part off with step 7. In step 7, we just need our fabric B squares, and we're just going to do the same thing, align them to our corners and assemble on our diagonal line and press towards fabric B. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll be moving on to the handle part of the rotary cutter. Okay, so here I have my finished top unit. Isn't it so cute? I'm really loving this block. I really like how unique it is. I don't think I've seen a rotary cutter yet with a star, so fun. Okay, so let's set this aside, our top unit to the side. Okay, so now we're going to be moving on to step 8. So for step 8, we need our fabric D and 4 of our fabric L's. And what we're doing here is we are putting them, and this is not looking very great, but I'll fix it when we get to the machine. We're putting those on our corners here. It's small, so just be careful, go slow, lower that stitch length when you're stitching on your diagonal line, and you should be just fine. After we do that, we're going to press towards fabric L. Now, I'm gonna also do step 9 because it's similar, and I like to combine as many similar steps as I can. So for step 9, you need your fabric R and then the last 2 fabric L's. And we're gonna be making the R unit here. Same thing, you're going to sew on your diagonal line and then you're going to press towards fabric L. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and then we'll start on step 10. Okay, I just finished up with step 8 and step 9. So here we have our D unit and here we have our R unit. And man, I don't know if I'm just having a good day for the most part or if I am just getting better because I feel like I'm having to trim off less and less and I'm having less and less difficulties with these small pieces, which is always a good thing. So I hope you're learning a lot and I hope you're also getting better with working with small pieces. Now let's put this handle together. So let's start on step 10. So for step 10, we need a couple different pieces. We need our R unit, our D unit. Move these up a little bit here. We need our fabric J, which goes at the bottom here. Need a little more room here. We need our fabric H, a little more room. And we need both of our fabric I's. Oh, this is gonna look so cute. I'm so excited. Oh, so excited. Okay, so this has a couple different steps, 5 in all. So what we need to do first, looking at constructing this, we need to assemble this fabric H to our R unit and press. We need to assemble this fabric J in our D unit and press. Then we need to assemble that together here. After we've pressed, we're then going to assemble our fabric I's to the side and press towards fabric I. I know that looks complicated in the pattern, but it's fairly simple. So I'm gonna go ahead and do all that, and when I get back, we'll be on step 11. Okay, I just finished up with step 10. That was easy enough, right? Super simple. Now we're gonna move on to step 11. So for step 11, we need our fabric E squares. So we have 2 fabric E squares, and we're just gonna assemble on our diagonal line, and then we're gonna press towards fabric E. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and when we get back, we'll put our rotary cutter together. Okay, I just finished with step 11. Now we're gonna put our rotary cutter together. This is the fun part. Okay, so now we need fabric A rectangles, and these are gonna assemble first to the side. So you're gonna press towards fabric A. After you've done that, then we're gonna assemble our cute blade unit to the top. Now you wanna make sure that you're somewhat aligned here in the middle when you assemble it, but to be perfectly honest, I'm probably not very aligned here and you can't even tell. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that and then we're gonna put the Sew Starry Block together. I'm so excited. Okay, I just assembled my A's to my handle unit. Now all that's left is assembling our blade unit. Okay, so here I have the adorable rotary cutter unit. So now I have 2, one in blue and one in red. Now I'm going to sew these together and add my middle sashing, and then we're going to be done with the Sew Starry Block. I just need to figure out my placement. So do I want it like this? I think that looks good. Yeah, because either way, I think either way they're going to be the same, so it doesn't matter. But you could choose to have your rotary cutters go the same way. I know a couple of you prefer to not have something upside down, so feel free to put that the other way. I'm just going to go ahead and do this just for the sake of my mind. So what we're going to do first is we are going to assemble our fabric C to our rotary cutter units here. Just like that, press towards fabric C. And then the last step is just assembling our fabric F. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that and I will be right back. Okay, I just finished up the Sew Starry Block and it turned out so beautiful. I love this so much with an S-E-W, so much, so cute. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the top camera and say goodbye and I'll see you in a bit. Okay, I loved making this block. I hope you did too. This was so much fun and it actually went together super quickly, especially because I already had one of the rotary cutters made. That made the tutorial, I feel like, go a little bit quicker. We'll see if it went a little bit quicker, but this is actually a very easy block this month to make. You do have a couple of little small pieces, but I don't think that you're gonna have any troubles making them. I hope you enjoy making this Sew Starry block. This is the July block of the Year of Sewing block of the month that I hope you're having a lot of fun making. Now, don't forget, head on over to mysewquiltylife.com, download this low-priced PDF, and get started on the Sew Starry block now. So I want you to post in the comments below if you're making this block of the month and if you're having so much fun, and what has been your favorite block so far to make. This might be my favorite so far. Now there are some really cute blocks already out there, but this has been a lot of fun. And I don't know about you, but my rotary cutter is the star of my sewing room. I use it in every project. I'm sure you do too. I don't know a lot of people that don't use a rotary cutter these days, but I just thought this would be so cute to make the July block a little bit of patriotic, a little festive with stars and then the colors. And I hope you enjoy making this block. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this video so you don't miss out on the other videos I release. So I hope you have a wonderful quilty weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys!